just going to do a quick introduction. Robyn, you are in Joburg. You train dogs professionally. You're involved in quite a few different dog sports. And your dog, Dragon, is currently the holder of the RallyDog champion title. Am I correct?
Yes, yeah, she does hold the title for champion dog, yeah.
Okay, great stuff. And you are then also in charge of RallyDog South Africa under the KUSA umbrella.
That's it, yes.
Perfect. Welcome. So great to have you here today. Chantal, you're in Cape Town, living there, yes, with hubby, the 2 border collies and the golden. And you represent South Africa on international level, at FCI level for RallyDog. And you organize lots of events around dog sports, and also in your free time offered to train people in RallyDog. So yeah, I think both of you busy ladies. So I'm so grateful to have you both here today and to educate us and tell us more about RallyDog and how we can get involved. So yeah.
Thank you so much for the invite. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks, Antoinette.
Okay, great stuff. All right, so we're just going to have fun. We'll kick off. I think I'll ask questions, and then just feel free to jump in. And there's no structure. Let's just have some fun. All righty. So with RallyDog, for both of you, I think if you can both say to me, why do you love it so much, and why did you get involved, and how did you get involved with RallyDog?
Okay, well, I'll go first.
Yeah.
I just loved the challenge of it. RallyDog, I've always had a history. I love obedience training, and I love teaching my dogs things like the control and things that go with obedience. It's always been one of my favorite sports. And RallyDog just took it to that next level for me. It was so much more than just being in a good position next to the handler or doing stays or sits and downs. It challenges the dog's brains, and it gives you so much more to teach them. There's so much more they need to know. So it just opens the playing field for you so much. That is what drew me to actually to RallyDog sport.
Okay. And for you, Chantal?
Well, for me, I'm a lot newer than Robyn to dog sports. When we moved to Cape Town, I mean, prior to moving to Cape Town, I didn't know that dog sports existed. So that's about probably 11 years ago. Started off with obedience, which I loved, and then rally came into play. And it's just so much fun, and it's very exciting. And you don't know what the next sound holds, and you mess up, and there's laughter and enjoyment. But you also strive for excellence. It's that weird combination. And then once you get hooked on it, we had a few flyball people join us recently, and they all just got so hooked, and now they're part of rally as well. It's a great team sport with your dog, but also other handlers. There's an entire community. It's definitely a very engaging way to build a solid relationship for me, with the dog, and to teach some basic essential skills. Rally is a communication type of dog sport in essence. That's what makes it different, but definitely very, very exciting.
Okay, yeah. So maybe if you could just explain how it works, because there's a course, there's signs. Are there different levels to the sport, for like a complete newbie like me who doesn't have a clue, and for someone who's more experienced and at competition level, how do you progress, and how do you get involved, and how does it work? Is there points systems? I don't know. I'm asking lots of things because I don't know. So I'm really interested in just how it all works.
Robyn, you want to start off, and then I can fill in.
Okay. So Rally has, correct me if I'm wrong here, I think it's 6 different levels, depending on whether you're at an open show or a championship show, but we won't go into those yet. So of an entry level, we start at fun, which is the most simple of the boards. It's easy to do. You're allowed to use reward systems within the course, which Rally is the only sport that allows you to use reward when you are competing in the fun level. From fun, you progress up to novice. Novice starts being a little bit more complicated, where the signs getting a little bit more difficult. And then, of course, the food goes away, so the dog has to work the course without you being able to use food to keep them with you and things like that. So they need to start understanding more of what you're asking of them. From novice, you go to advanced. From advanced to excellent, excellent to masters, masters to grandmasters. So at the masters level is where your dog earns its championship qualification, and then you work from within masters. You work from masters to become a grandmaster at the sport. So there's a number of different levels. To get to those levels, you need to qualify. So everything, all levels are marked out of 100. With you losing points for your dog sitting crooked or not listening to an instruction or being distracted and sniffing on the floor, that type of thing, or not doing the sign at all. So that gets you your scores. The score is out of 100. In all the levels up to masters, you can lose 10 points. So you can get 90% and then you qualify. Now it gets a little more complicated. So you need 3 qualifications to move up to the next level. Then you can elect to move, or 5 qualifications, then you have to move. So that's how we work. So you move up as you go along, and it gets a little bit more complicated, and each level is more difficult. Once you get to masters, you only have 5 points to play with. You know, so you can only make like 3 or 4 mistakes before you can't qualify anymore. So it becomes much more difficult to qualify. Your work needs to be, like Chantal was mentioning, your work needs to then become precision work.
Okay. I see there's a question there from Vicky from Canine Adventures. Does the dog lose points if they touch the sign?
Yes. The only part of the dog that may touch the sign that doesn't lose points is their tail.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That, you know, happy tails.
They can look at a sign. They can definitely give it a look and all that, because it's, you know, Rally is not that strict, but definitely you as a handler can't touch a sign. You can't touch your dog, and the dog can definitely not touch a sign or, you know, move close up towards it. Just to add on what Robyn said in terms of, you know, the courses are quite exciting, because as Robyn mentioned, you've got first, second, third, fourth levels, and as you progress, so when you start at fun, you only learn the first level signs. The signs are not that difficult. It's when it's put on a course that it becomes a whole new world, and you don't know what the judge put at the next sign. So it's exhilarating. You think you mess up badly, but you actually don't. You look quite cool from the side and you qualify. So people mustn't be scared of that. But we have about 103 signs in South Africa. At FCI level, we have significantly less, because you're allowed to have additional signs in each country. It's when you compete internationally that you abide by their signs. Our signs are, however, aligned, and we do train our dogs to go in that direction. But as an example, at a fun level, it's 12 signs on a course, on average 12 to 14, I think. And it goes up to 20 exercises at a grandmaster level. So you can see how cleverly the schedule or the rules were written, that you start off and you slowly build confidence. And over 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, who cares how long it takes? You know, it's such an incredibly long journey with your dog. It's not something, you know, sometimes in some of the more running and jumping kind of sports, they can only do that to a certain age. Rally, you can start at 6 months at a fun level, 12 from novice onwards, and you can grow until they're 14, 15 years old. Your dog's going to tell you when they've had enough. So that's a very big and distinct difference compared to some of the other dog sports. But it is exciting. It's challenging. You don't know what the next sign's going to hold. You don't know which 12 of those 103 signs your judge is going to put on that course. You have no idea. You have 10 minutes before the show to walk it, but I mean, you can't train it in that time, you know.
All right. So at least you can walk through the course and see, okay, you can kind of mentally prepare yourself, just anticipate a little bit. Is there a time limit on how long it takes for you to complete the course? Or is it only points based? So if you lose 10 points in
4 minutes. 4 minutes, but 4 minutes. It's again, it's built at the levels, because at the lower levels, the fun level, you'll have say 12 signs, but the signs are less complex, they're a little bit easier. So you have your 4 minutes. If you don't get your 4 minutes, there's the 4 minutes is the cutoff. If you exceed 4 minutes, then unfortunately you disqualify. But it's quite a bit of time only for 12 signs. But when you get to a grandmaster level, or where Robyn's dog was competing, at the champion master levels and so on, they have 20 signs, way more complex, but still 4 minutes. So you see how you have to build and progress and get better, better, better. But I tell you one thing about rally: once it bites you, you suck. You just, that's what you want to say, because it's so exciting. It's like running the comrades. Never ever again, and then there we go. Next time we go back,
we go for the next one.
Oh.
Okay, brilliant. So, what I take away from this is a sport for any dog: puppy, old dog, couch potato, all of them.
It covers them all. Even we even accommodate for reactive dogs. So those dogs that are a bit scared of other people and don't want strangers to come up to them. It's other sports where you can have a steward walking around behind the dog. We try not to do that. We're trying to stay out of the dog's line. We allow for people, obviously not dogs that are out of control, but if it's just a case of keeping your distance, we allow for that, so that people who have got that little bit more nervous dog or whatever can also compete and enjoy the time with their dogs.
Yeah, because I think that's the key thing that I'm hearing, is that it's about having fun, and it's about having that bond, and about advocating for your dog.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Absolutely. Handlers are also quite cool in the sense that you do some ring management, and if you have a dog that likes to chase hardy dogs, like our one dog, you say to the people, please move away from the ring. They're very respectful. They're not going to hang right by the ring where the dog and the handler works. So there's a lot of respect, and especially if you're coming towards the ring, because your dog's on a lead until you enter the ring to compete. Then it gets taken off the lead, obviously at fun, novice, and I think Robyn, am I right, at advanced? Excellent. That's when you go off lead. So again, it progresses through the levels. It was very cleverly done and designed so that you go step by step. But if you say to people, listen, he doesn't like other dogs or whatever, they all move away, or if there's a dog barking on the side, distracting your dog, they'll walk away with the dog. So people are very courteous in general in rally dog. There's a lot of respect. So Robyn's right, especially the younger dogs that are not as focused as the older dogs, and some of them, like my golden retriever's 9 and she still doesn't focus. So, it's just different strokes for different folks. Just going back to what Robyn was saying just now, in terms of rally being for everybody. Robyn, our youngest competitor, I think, is 9 years old in the country. Am I right? 9 or 8?
We do, and I know here in Joburg we've got 2 11-year-olds who compete regularly. So
and then up to in our 80s. We have competitors in their 80s, and then physical ability. You do not have. You don't have to be fit. You really don't have to be fit. And you could. We in Cape Town way back a while ago. We actually had a person that had a hearing impairment, did extremely well. I think a wheelchair would be limiting because we don't do it inside. We do it outside on grass and stuff like that. And a person not being able to see might be a challenge. But other than that, anybody can come and try out rally. It's for everybody. It's a bit of a family affair, I must say.
Right. Okay, that's wonderful. So what's your best tips for a beginner if they want to get involved?
Robyn's got lots of tips.
Yeah, Robyn, you both
it's a lovely day out with your dog. It's a lovely thing to be. Obviously, I do recommend that if you do want to give the sport a try, is to go down to one of the clubs that actually train it and go and have a chat to them and see what it's all about. Very important for the handlers is to know to get to know their signs and how they execute it. And obviously, we have a number of clubs that can help them with that type of thing to get involved. and even to come down to an event, when an event is happening, you know, Chantal will give you guys all our contacts so that we can be contacted, so we can give you all that information, you know, come down and have a look, see what it's all about, and chat to the competitors and things. You know, that's the thing to get started. You know, you do need to have a bit of obedience on your dog, but it doesn't have to be like a C-test obedience that you see the competitors doing. You just need to have a little bit of control over your dog, and, you know, come and give fun a try. It's a lot of fun.
Okay.
We actually have a lot of competitors in other sports, because they're about 7, 8 very active different types of disciplines, and through your, you know, in the next month, I think you're featuring flyball and then agility and dog jumping, but obedience, like Robyn said, your dog needs to know how to sit, to stand, to down, you know, the basic things that we all teach our doggies. That's the basic stuff you learn at puppy school, I guess, and then you start building from there. But, you know, it's also trying to, you know, start and play around with the level 1 signs. It's a lot of fun. Reward your dog all the time. Make it fun. Don't get upset if they get it wrong, because you want to make it a very positive learning experience, you know, and develop that bond between you and your dog. And if something happens on the sideline, that all the dog wants to do is please you, because that's what dogs do. They want to please you. They love you. You get home, and you might have shouted at them for digging a hole, but they're just so excited that you get home. And the same applies with any type of dog sport. If you can maintain that, and of course you become competitive as you go into higher levels, but and you're there for a reason. And yes, it is a competition, but you'll see that even the champions, and Robyn can tell you a bit more, having Dragon as a champ, that connection never goes away. And at home, they're still your pet. They're still your fur kid.
Yeah, I saw in one of the when I was reading up a little bit, one of the things that they said is for your dog to focus on you. So is that something that you teach as well when people start with the rally?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, you know, engagement with the handler is very important in any dog sport that you do. They don't have to be constantly staring at the handler like you see in some of the other sports. But we work a lot, and you get that by correct rewarding and working the dog, you know, and making yourself more fun than everything else that's going on around them. That's how you get that kind of focus out of the dog. It's something, it's a training thing, but it's a lot about your dog wanting to be with you and wanting to engage with you.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got 10 minutes a day. I've got a bag of treats. What should be the first thing I start teaching my dog at home?
Coming into the heel position, sits down, stands. They're all things that are very quick and easy to teach. Most of us at home, you know, we teach our dog to sit and wait for its food. We teach, those are all really your baselines, you know, the little skills that you want. Spinning in a circle, going around in a circle. Those are ones that we love. It's one of the signs that we get. You know, spins like that. It's good and fun to teach to the right, teach it to the left. Backing up, being able to walk backwards.
Okay. What's your favorite sign, Robyn?
Sure, there's so many of them. I love the call. We've got one where you've got to call the dog to the front, to stand it, and then you've got to make it walk backwards 3 body lengths away from you.
Okay.
Absolutely love that sign. It's one of my favorites. And then the fend away.
Yeah. And for you, Chantal?
Oh, the easier things. For me, you know, we've got one. I love this one. It's where you spin apart. So you and your dog would walk next to each other, and you'll spin this way and your dog the other way, and you catch up again and you walk forward. It's quite tricky because you fall over the show and the arms are everywhere, and you got to learn. And it's you know, just to get the dog to spin is tricky, but now you need to spin with your dog. And then meet up and then continue walking forward in a straight line. So not falling over. Timing it depending on the golden retriever would be a lot slower than a border collie. A border collie spins like that. So making sure that you can meet up with your dog. I love that because it makes me laugh, you know, and yeah, you try your best. Sometimes it works out perfectly fine. Sometimes you fall over. Yeah, that I would say that's my favorite one, definitely.
All right. So it sounds like it's a fun sport. It's very forgiving. So you've got points to play with. You've definitely got, for the beginners, a very welcoming community in the Rally Dog. People want you to come, you guys that are there want people to come enjoy the day out with their dog. So, yeah, what was the funniest thing that you've ever seen at a competition or at an event?
For me, coming from the judges' side, we have a sign in there that's called a temptation. And what the temptation is, it says it's a figure of 8. And in the figure of 8, you can either have toys or you can have food or you can have both. So if I set up a temptation, I'll put a toy on one side, a dog toy on one side, and I'll put a bowl with food. The bowl with food has always got a lid on, so the dogs can't actually get to it, so that you're not, if you've got dogs that are allergic to things, they're not being able to eat stuff they shouldn't be able to. But obviously it draws their attention. And the dogs wanting that toy so badly, they want to pick it up and play with it. Or I had one that I used a while ago. I've got a stuffed toy that's the shape of a beagle or a basset hound. And he's got these big eyes and everything. And my course was in the shape of an M. And they had to come down the one leg, and then the basset hound was in the temptation going up the other leg. And the dogs would stop and freeze dead still to check this dog out that was sitting in the middle of their course. And just how they reacted to it. It was hysterical. And it wasn't just one dog. It was a number of dogs that reacted like that. It was, they really can make you laugh.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
And but you have a bit of a video clip, Vicky, who's one of your followers on We Love Pets.
Yes, and, I love that. Yes.
Yeah, her and her dog Cobalt tried out and Rally recently, and I couldn't stop laughing because he was so excited. He was hopping all over the the ground, but also going and hugging a cone, very interested in all the distractions and so on. But you see interesting things all the time. I mean, I personally, when I was competing with my golden retriever Cleo, who is more of a socialite than a competitor, I might add, but I was walking away and talking to her and do this and do that, but I wasn't looking down because remember, you got to focus on where you're going. So that's what makes it so exciting in Rally. Working, and as I looked down, she's no longer there. She'd left the course because it's way too hot for her. She went and laid under the tree, but the judge never told me. So everybody left me going on for 2-3 sides and going, Penny, where are you? She's lying under the tree having some water. She says, I'm out of here. This is way too hot for me. So you have lots of interesting things happening, on the courses.
Yeah. So it's important to take the dog.
It's just so much fun.
Oh, bless her. Okay. Oh, okay. How can people get involved? Where are the clubs? Where can they find information on the clubs? How do they get started?
Well, I'll start off by just saying in our article now in June, and thank you so much for including us in that, Antoinette. We have our Facebook page. So we also answer the messages all the time. But if you forget, you just go RallyDog SA one word.co.za and it will take you anywhere you need to go in South Africa on RallyDog. But also at the bottom of your article, we have our our link to our Facebook page there, and that's very much a community. You see results of what's happening across the country, if there are new signs out and so on. The other thing before we carry on that I want to mention to the listeners, Antoinette, if I may, is in the article we also have a link that you click on and that takes you through to the signs. So when you want to start practicing at home, you can. If you have a question, you can post it on this Rally Facebook page, or you can message myself and Robyn and we can help you along, at home if you're not in clubs. Or I can be emailed at Chantal, CHANTAL, at rallydogsa.co.za, or there's obviously Robyn with a Y, H, at rallydogsa.co.za. And then Robyn, maybe you want to go into detail. You've been talking to our national committee about, all the clubs that offer the training across our country.
Yeah, so what I've done is we will compile a list of the different clubs that actually train Rally, so that if any of your listeners are interested in getting involved, they can just pop either myself or Chantal a email, and we will send them the contacts for the clubs in their area. that they can contact and go through and have a look, see, and get involved that way.
Okay, I'll make sure that when I post it on the video on YouTube, that I'll also add your contact details and any other links. I'll add them in there as well, so people can go from there and visit you. But we'll keep, because obviously we're building up now to the KUSA Classic Dog Sport event at the end of October. Did you want to say something quickly about that?
I'd love to. So just first of all, thank you, Antoinette and We Love Pets SA, for being our official PR partner. This is a national event, even though it's being held in Cape Town this year. And next year it's going to be in Robyn's province. And it runs from the 31st of October to the 2nd of November. And it's at the Theo Marie Sports Complex in Milnerton. So anyone in Cape Town will know where that is. Most of our shows are there. So we look forward to having you there, Antoinette, and you're going to be interviewing and talking to some of our champions, and just come and have a lot of fun with us. And then just for the listeners, the next up related to KUSA Classic, we're going to be featuring Flyball. So Lee and her team will take you through the process of what they do and all the exciting things across the country. And then next up will be Agility in October. And I think December we're going to celebrate our winners, aren't we?
Absolutely, yes.
Wow. But thank you so much. We really do appreciate this exposure.
No, it's absolutely my pleasure. And, for me as a dog owner and a novice at anything dog sport, it's always great to learn about new things that I can do with my dogs at home. It does, because we live on a farm, so, and I've got Ridgebacks and they're big and clumsy, and they have their own mind. And I'm a bit of a let's just relax kind of mother, dog mom. So, for me, just things to do with them at home. And I'm going to, I've looked at that video and they explain the signs so beautifully of how to execute them. Obviously, that's the perfect way. My life will not be perfect like that, but
no, nobody is.
But I'll be making some signs and definitely, testing it out with, and playing around and just having some fun with the regions, and maybe I'll post it.
You print on black and white your first lot of 100 signs, and you put it in a sleeve if you're in Cape Town, otherwise it gets wet and blows away. But if you're in a nice sunny area, you don't have to. You just clip it on something and you just play around and do it that way. But talking about your Ridgebacks, just something we didn't touch on is our judges are amazing. They take into account the breed and the temperament and the size of our dogs around courses, because a Ridgeback is not going to work the same way a Border Collie does, or a little Fox Terrier is going to work very differently. So they're very, very good. They're very trained in taking that into account. So some of our bigger dogs, maybe Doberman would be a good example, they tend to sit slightly skew on the bum on the side. So whatever's comfortable, and we do a lot of physiological research at FCI level, making sure that everything we do and the way courses are built and the space between signs is okay in terms of those dogs not being injured, or more so us as human beings. And that's why it is a sport for all different ages, all breeds. The bigger breeds generally can't do dog jumping and agility. It's not good for them. But rally, it doesn't matter. You can be a big dog, small dog, thoroughbred, and special breed, which is what I call them. It really doesn't matter. It's a sport for everyone. We're allowed to be 45 degrees angles skew sit, and any work that they do, we look at it from a 45 degree, because no dog is a robot and walks straight back. I mean, just doesn't. Some of them do, some of the champions do, but generally speaking, and no dog always sits dead straight, where in obedience, as an example, you need to sit dead straight. So yes, it is a lot more forgiving and a lot more fun, I guess.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think, I'm just thinking maybe we should do a competition where people need to print a sign and post how they do it with their dog, and we can just have some fun online. That should be fun.
That's a very good idea.
Let's see if we can do something like that. All right, ladies, is there anything else that you wanted to add? Because I'm kind of thinking rally, definitely try the Ridgebacks.
We'll train you a bit when you come to Cape Town.
Oh, okay. I won't be bringing one of them with me, though.
No, you can train with our golden retriever.
I'll tell them when I get home. The golden did it like this. So you better get it right. All right. I would want to say thank you so much for your time and for talking to us and for teaching our followers about the sport. I think it's something that people need to go and explore. And I hope that we see lots of the Cape Town people at the end of October as well. I'm going to be there for all 3 days. So yeah, I'm excited. My flights have been booked, the car's been booked, everything's been booked. So I'm so excited.
We look forward to having you, Antoinette, and thanks again for everything you're doing for dogdom as a whole. We appreciate you.
Bless you. Thank you. Thank you very much, both of you, Robyn and Chantal.
Thank you very, very much for your time.
All right. Have a lovely weekend.
You too. Bye, Robyn.
Bye.
Bye, Antoinette.
Bye. Bye.